Langdon Hatton making his second consecutive and second start of the season, and Ben White also at that forward position as Davidson wins the tip and Lawyer works from right to left. Mananga again at the point. Brajkovic had a touch, 2 points away from 1,000 in his career. Lee pulls up from the free throw line and draws an early foul. And Sam, not only is he a great shooter from behind the arc, pretty darn good at the free throw line as well.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think one thing that William & Mary may try to do today to disrupt the rhythm of Anjun Lee is foul him. However, he is such a good free throw shooter. It's really tough to stop Anjun Lee. I think the biggest thing going in for William & Mary is just don't let him get open from three, because that's where his rhythm and his groove starts.
He's a 91% free throw shooter on the season. He makes both on that trip. And to your point, Sam, I think what you've got to do is deny him the ball. But what you mentioned in pregame about him being that tertiary point guard, well, it's tough to deny him the ball if he's the one bringing it up court, and that's what makes that aspect so dangerous.
Certainly. I think that's something Bob McKillop's going to keep an eye out on. If William & Mary tries to deny him the ball, have him bring the ball up the floor.
Coach Shera up top for White. Romanovskis gets the handoff, that lone junior in the starting five. Pull up from the right elbow off the side of the rim, and the rebound for Foster Lawyer. Davidson a 2-0 start. Winners of 4 in a row. Jones on the feed from Lee. Connects from low on the right.
Mike Jones, so good off the ball. Bob McKillop highlighted that during media day as well. It's just so tough to stop someone that continues to run at 100 miles an hour when he doesn't have the ball, and he's doing that every single possession.
Davidson started each of their first 2 defensive possessions with 1-2-2 full court pressure, and while it's not been rampant in terms of trying to force turnovers, this is a team in William & Mary that does turn the ball over quite a bit.
Yeah, they come in 17.9 turnovers per game, Matt. That's most in the CAA, the Colonial Athletic Association. They cannot be careless with the ball. That is a huge key.
A turnover right there as Lee's able to save it. And Davidson in possession, ahead 4-0. Kick out, Lawyer open from long range, bullseye!
Foster Lawyer, Matt, brings such a key dimension to this team. Last season, Davidson didn't really have a true point guard. You go back a couple of years ago, John Axel Goodmanson, an A-10 player of the year. Now you bring in a Michigan State transfer, and Foster Lawyer has fit right in to the puzzle for Bob McKillop.
And he's shooting 53% from behind the arc this season. Another turnover as they get a moving screen, it looks like. And that'll give Davidson the possession right back ahead 7-0 just 2 minutes in.
Yeah, that foul on Ben White, the sophomore post player for the Tribe.
White and Hatton both in the starting lineup, Sam. You mentioned to me off the air coming into this broadcast that prior to last game when Hatton got the start, Brajkovic stuffs it home. There's number 1,000.
1K, Luka Brajkovic. It's been a heck of a career for the native from Austria.
Referees stop play. Luka Brajkovic, the 53rd player in Davidson history to reach the 1,000-point plateau, and the first to do so since Kellen Grady and John Axel Goodmanson over the last couple of years.
And a dunk, that's a great way to spark this game, an easy bucket.
Tough take by Coach Shera, and Jones called for a foul. But to go back to what I started to say, Hatton and White had not played together on the floor up until last game, and it brings a different dimension, but it's also got to change the substitution pattern for Dane Fisher.
Yeah, and when I watched a little bit of that game against Navy, even though William & Mary ended up losing by a good bit, having White and Hatton on the floor, it's tough to guard because Hatton actually had a great game. He dropped 17 points, and outside the arc, he was handling the ball a little bit. So when you have a big like Brajkovic in the case of Davidson, in this case Hatton, outside of the arc, that's tough. That really makes it tough to guard.
Both free throws good. By the way, Desmond Watson checked in to replace Mike Jones. Watson, a freshman from Columbus, Ohio. Lee pulls up from the mid-post. He knocks it down. Hyunjun Lee in his last 3 games, Sam, coming in 27 points and 9 rebounds a game, and he does not seem like he's cooled off at all.
Yeah, the face-up jumper right there. You have to have a hand up at all times. I don't care if he has the ball at a hip-high dribble. You've got to be ready because his release is so quick.
Hatton backing in. Tough turnaround with the right hand, rims off.
Yeah, just not a great possession from William & Mary. I'd like to see out of them more ball movement.
Brajkovic straight on, left it short. Lee, the offensive rebound. Can't get it to go high off the glass. Gets his own miss again, draws contact, and a foul coming.
It's easy to work hard on this end of the floor when you've got the student section cheering you on, and Lee just quicker to the ball. You can't get caught ball watching on a shot that goes off the iron. Lee was right there in the thick of things. And, you know, one thing, Matt, we didn't really talk about was the tenacity that Lee brings when he's not scoring. And right there is a perfect example, the offensive rebound.
Well, and we talked about it in the open, and not to discredit what you said about what he's done from long range this season, but to me the 14 rebounds stand out more than the 32 points last game. He is 6'7", he is athletic, but this is not a guy who came to Davidson as a rebounder.
Yeah, he came to Davidson as a shooter and has just grown into an all-around great player from South Korea. It's been fun to watch his journey from when he just got here as a freshman a couple of years ago.
Grant Huffman and Elsie Bochigidum onto the court for Davidson. Wildcats up 13-2 here early as Covington races into the front court. This is Carroll, who's also just entered. Brandon Carroll, a graduate transfer from Southern Florida. Covington around a screen, pumps at the free throw line. Carroll on the kick out 3 off the front of the rim, and Lee there to secure the rebound. Davidson by 11. Brajkovic with the shot clock down to 13. A little freshman from Columbia, South Carolina, coming off a career-high 16 against Navy, but today coming off the bench for the Tribe.
Yeah, a little bit surprised, but again, it's early in the season. Coach Fisher just trying to figure out the right rotations.
Ayesa from 3, that's off the mark, and Bochigidum with the rebound. Miguel Ayesa, a junior from Madrid, Spain, also coming in during that under-16 timeout. Davidson sticking with the same 5 that they went into the break with.
And this kid right here, Desmond Watson, very talented. We can talk about him throughout the course of this game, number 4 in the white.
Shot clock at 9 for Watson as he catches left wing, pumps now, fires halfway down, pops out, and Brajkovic gets the tip out from Bochigidum. Huffman open for 3, that's way short. Brajkovic again the offensive rebound. And Sam, these offensive boards piling up for Davidson.
Effort, it's all effort. You can see it just in their eyes as we got a stoppage here. I'm not quite sure what.
It looked like a foul was called against William & Mary. And the referee's now conferencing.
I'm just looking at some of the players on the William & Mary bench with a look of confusion right there. I don't know if a foul was issued, just an inbound.
Well, regardless, 4 offensive rebounds for Davidson in the first 5 minutes. Driving kick, Bochigidum a triple. Too strong, and the rebound secured that time from Carroll. Cochera on the left wing. Kicks it down low, Hatton fouled hard. Watson got his money's worth, and Hatton to the line for a pair.
Great job from William & Mary, just getting something on the low block, and Langdon Hatton has to get going. The freshman from Indiana was very impressive despite the loss to Navy last time out.
Yeah, and his first start, 17 points on 7 for 17 shooting. And the first free throw good. He's a 67% free throw shooter on the season.
This is a much different start, by the way, Matt, for William & Mary compared to the way they started the game against Navy. They had so much energy in that game against Navy. running for the loose ball, steals, deflections, just a little flat early, and you can't get that way against this Davidson team.
Well, to your point, don't let the final score fool you. It was 75-56, but Navy didn't lead until just around the 8-minute mark of the opening half, and then they used a 12-0 run to pull away. Brajkovic backing it against Hatton. Turns. Banker doesn't go. And the rebound secured by Cochera. Wildcats by 9 early. Cochera on the kick out. Front rims the 3.
He's their best three-point shooter at 46%, Matt. And that was a pretty solid look. I would think that he's going to continue to take that even though he missed the first.
Hoffman takes it hard. Count it, and a foul.
That is a great sign. Grant Huffman, the backup point guard. As soon as he gets more and more aggressive, this team, especially the second unit, thrives.
Hoffman, a big second half a couple games ago against Robert Morris, now at the free throw line for one more. And can't get the roll. Wildcats back up 11. Carroll surveys up top. This is Rice, the freshman point guard. Ayesa can't free himself from Lee. Rice shut off, turnaround jumper around it off.
Great on-ball defense right there. Rice is a facilitator first. He had no vision there with that drive, just closed off.
Lee catch and shoot triple. That's off the mark. Davidson started just 1 of 6 from three-point range, uncharacteristic for a team that shoots it at 44% from beyond the arc. And an offensive foul called, a moving screen against Brandon Carroll. Lee and Brajkovic to the bench. Foster Lawyer returns along with Sam Menenga for the Wildcats. And Yuri Covington back on the floor now for the Tribe. Jones on the right wing. Bochi Edom defended tightly by Carroll. Lawyer dumps for Menenga. Menenga against Hatton working his way in. Kick out. Hoffman open for 3. That's off the back iron. Another offensive rebound for Davidson.
Yeah.
Long one for Foster Lawyer.
It's a great defensive possession there from William & Mary. They just have to, they got to box out and be aggressive on the boards.
Foul called on the Jones drive. It'll be a baseline inbound coming for the Wildcats, up 15-4.
I mean, even after that long possession that basically got the shot clock inside 5, Grant Huffman is open for a 3.
Well,
got to close out.
Yeah, to your point, you usually look at time of possession as a football stat, but in this game, it's been, you know, the pendulum has swung way towards Davidson.
Right.
There hasn't been a single second opportunity on the other end of the floor so far for the Tribe, and Davidson continues to get offensive rebounds. And aside from that one sequence where Lee went right back up with it, they were able to reset and work time off not only the shot clock but also the game clock and really force William & Mary to defend for long stretches.
Yeah, it's going to wear you down for sure. And Nelson Bochi Edom has been a big reason why he's just getting a hand on the ball, a back tap almost every time, regardless of who gets it. That's tough.
He missed on the front end of a 1-and-1, so Davidson can't score, but they're already in the bonus. Quick finish on the other end for William & Mary. By the way, that was the second personal foul picked up by Carroll, who is still out there wearing number 4 in green. Menenga facing up, now backing in. Spins to the left and finishes off the window.
Great move, great footwork by Sam Menenga. He's worked on that time and time again as a low post player. You got to know, first of all, he's left-handed, but when he fakes one way, it's very tough to stop. He's very shifty down there.
Ayesa turns it over. 2-on-1 for the Wildcats. Huffman, Euro step, scoop and score.
Foster Lawyer a veteran guard.
Another offensive rebound, and Mike Jones cashes in.
Mike Jones coming off a career-high 18 points. He has been so good this season. I feel like he's taking that next step. He's a captain, great on-ball defender, and great movement off the ball. But if he's knocking down threes, which he is at a 42% clip, it's tough to stop him.
22-6 Wildcats, and the foul trouble also mounting for William and Mary as Cochera buries one from deep.
Yeah, he's got to get going. Connor Cochera, 46% from three coming in, best on the team.
But Carroll, Ayesa, and White all with 2 personals early. Lawyer off the mark. Menenga can't get the weak side board. And the rebound for Covington. He'll Euro step down the lane, off the side of the window, but draws a foul. That was the most aggressive take we've seen to this point.
Yeah, and Covington, he was a little off balance, but got bailed out, and we'll head to the free throw line here. Had a great freshman season with William and Mary.
First free throw is short. Yeah, last season, 9.5 points per game. That was 3rd among CAA freshmen.
Yep. And I do like the way he attacks downhill. It feels like he makes up his mind. There's no hesitation and just full throttle down the lane, and that gets him to the free throw line.
And the southpaw splits the pair, 22-10 Wildcats as we approach the midway point of the opening half. Rajkovic working his way in. Twisting, turning, right hand, good.
Well, he basically palmed that ball and extended outward there, Matt. What a job in the post. Brajkovic, he'll wear you down when he's on the low block.
David Christensen entering for the Wildcats, by the way, for the first time, wearing number 12 in white. Rice trying to free himself. Gives up his dribble. White in the low block. That missed everything.
And that was just all Luka Brajkovic, the activity upstairs with his long arms.
Lawyer shut off baseline. Pitch it back for Brajkovic at the 10-minute mark of the opening half. And that's the 3rd time we've seen a moving screen called. And I was looking right at that. I didn't see a whole lot there.
Yeah, I didn't either. And Davidson's done a lot of dribble handoffs off screens in this first half, Matt, and just to try to get some open space. But there was not a lot of movement there. It looked like the feet were planted.
13 total fouls called in the first 10 minutes of this game. Wildcats ahead 14. Rice wraparound down low intended for Hatton, or rather White that is. Good idea, and it looks like it did touch off Davidson.
Yeah, and first of all, Tyler Rice, that's a great look. Even though it went out, to have the vision, the wraparound bounce pass through the trees is impressive for a young player.
Averaging 4 assists per game on the early season as Covington misses off the left rim. And that assist per game mark, the 3rd best among CAA players. Lawyer wide open for 3. Can't get the roll. Lee passed up a contested 3 to get Lawyer a good look. It just wouldn't go down.
I just love the unselfishness from this Bob McKillop coach team. I think the biggest thing that was missing a season ago was a true point guard, and Foster Lawyer coming over from Michigan State adds that. Yes, you don't have Kellen Grady, and you don't have Carter Collins, who handled the ball quite a bit a season ago, but Lawyer just seems to make this offense go, and I mean, he showed out against Delaware. Season opener, lit it up with 27 points, but his vision is also very important.
Foul one against Christensen, his 2nd, so he exits, and Watson back in for Davidson. Julian Lewis into the game for the first time for William and Mary, wearing number 2 in green. The kick out for Rice. NBA range 3 is strong, and Lee with the rebound. Hunjin Lee already 6 points and 6 rebounds in this game. More than halfway to a double-double as Jones knocks down the corner 3.
Shooters shoot, Matt, and even though Davidson has struggled early from 3, that percentage is going to upgrade.
Rebuttal 3, too strong from Cochera, and the rebound for the Wildcats. Lawyer racing into the front court, pass knocked away, nearly stolen, and now it is as Lewis comes away with the pack. He'll go up strong and get hammered by Jones, and Lewis to the free throw line.
I love the hustle right there. First time really William & Mary has shown a lot of energy on the defensive end, a deflection, a dive on the far sideline, and Lewis running it from midcourt to the lane. That is a great effort sequence by Dane Fisher's team.
Lewis, the freshman from Ann Arbor, Michigan, off the mark on the free throw. The foul was the second against Jones, so he'll exit in favor of Huffman. Lewis out of Huron High School, where he was an all-state selection, coached by his father Michael, who played college ball at Concordia. Second one good. Wildcats lead 27-11, under 8.5 to play in the opening half. Brajkovic on the feed from Lee, and called for steps.
I didn't get a good angle at it, Matt, but Luka Brajkovic, when he is on the low block, he loves to wear you down. And there are a lot of steps that take place sometimes, and maybe he took too many there. He did take too many according to the officials.
Hermanovskis back in. He'll skip a pass for Lewis. Kochera probing. Rice gives up his dribble after taking it off the bounce. Lewis nearly tied up, lost it. Kochera able to come to the rescue. Lewis open for a corner three, and he drills it.
A bailout three, nicely done. Julian Lewis has struggled from three this season, but in scramble mode, all the nerves go out the window.
This William & Mary team shoots it at just 29% from behind the arc in comparison to Davidson's 44%. Hoffman with it on the right wing. Brajkovic gets it and gets doubled. Trying to find Bochi Edom, it's tipped away and stolen. Lewis into the front court. Rice lobbing it inside for Kochera. And a foul called. I think that was Lawyer who came around weak side looking for the steal.
Yeah, I like the aggressiveness from Foster Lawyer there, but it will evolve and grow. But if you're a William & Mary fan, Langdon Hatton, who's at the free throw line right now, has a very bright future. This young man showed the ability to score at all three levels last game against Navy, dropped 17 points. His release from three is a little slow, but I expect it to get better as the years go on.
Tough take. Huffman can't get the roll, and it will stay with Davidson. Hatton last to touch.
You also have to keep in mind, and we talked about this, Matt, that Mikkel Harvey suspended for the first semester due to violating a school policy. He was the CAA's leader in block shots. And defensively, that's where William & Mary has struggled. Well, they've struggled basically on both sides of the floor, but that's a key piece not here.
Yeah, he's a senior, and then a junior in Quinn Blair, who averages 12 points a game, is injured right now, and so he's not playing today either. 7 on the shot clock. Lawyer from Menenga gives it up and gets it back. Lawyer pops from the right elbow, too strong. And the rebound for Kochera. But this is a team who just 2 years ago had one of their best finishes in program history, won 21 games, their most in 70 years. Did have a down year last season, going 7-10 and 4-6 in the CAA in a limited COVID year schedule. High arcing three from Lewis, left short, and Huffman clears the boards for Davidson.
Yeah, that was a great year. And that was the first year that Dane Fisher took over. Now in year 3 with the Tribe.
Yeah, he was named CAA Coach of the Year after that performance. Menenga low block right. Left-handed hook shot, can't get the roll. Another offensive rebound. That is 8 offensive rebounds here in the opening half of the Wildcats. Hoffman doubled. Kicks it back for Lee. Lawyer from the free throw line. That one drops through.
It's great movement without the ball. Foster Lawyer catch and release. These Davidson players, they don't take a lot of time to shoot the ball. They've got a quick trigger.
Rice on the other end. Can't get the roll, and Lee rebounds. 6.7 rebounds now for Hungjin Lee here in the opening half. Back feed Huffman, extra pass Lawyer, left alone for three, and that's a little bit strong.
Huffman just had a tough angle underneath. He was open, but I think it would have been really difficult to get that ball up off the cylinder.
It got a little bit too far under the basket, I think, as Kochera works with it. Hermanovskis now, and they'll cycle it back up top with under 5 minutes to play opening half. Hermanovskis on the kick out from Rice off the heel, and Davidson will let that one trickle out of play.
Just a lot of one-and-done possessions, Matt, and the ball is moving, but it's only moving outside the arc. I think I would like to see Ben White get a deep post touch, try and kick it out to an open shooter, but Davidson's done a great job of just not allowing any deep post touch on the block.
Yeah, Brankovic has really done a good job forcing that catch to come 8 to 10 feet away from the basket. Davidson leading 7-0 in second chance, 14-2 in the paint, make it 16-2 after the righty hook from Brankovic.
I'm pretty sure Luka Brankovic can palm the ball, right? His hands are that big, and it's looked like the last 2 times he's scored, he's literally done that and stretched his arm out to create separation.
Kochera, 3 on the way, too strong, and Brankovic able to get the rebound on the tip. Wildcats more than doubling up the Tribe here, 31-14. Hoffman crossing over, finishes with the right hand.
Great job, Grant Huffman on the other side of the floor. Not his strong side, but such a quick first. Huffman or Desmond Watson, who is a really, really talented young player, to get rolling in the non-conference, then it'll be really good for conference play.
Emery Lanier into the ball game and made a nice play defensively. Davidson can't get the bucket, though, on the other end.
Yeah, frustration right there on the Davidson sideline. That was an easy opportunity. Even though Davidson is up by a good margin here, you want to make sure you don't get a little sloppy.
Lewis against Lanier, 2 against 2. And you talked about getting White involved. Right now he's just been an outlet. Foul called on the Covington drive.
Yeah, he really hasn't done much at all. He's only taken 1 shot, 1 rebound, and he's committed 2 fouls. So basically has been a non-factor for a guy that really values that low block.
So Covington with a pair of free throws coming. Just a 57% free throw shooter is Covington. Foul went against Lanier, his first. Able to knock down the first of a 1-and-1 and earn the bonus with 3 minutes and 11 seconds left to play here in the opening half. Second one pops off. Lanier with the rebound. Three minutes to play opening half. Davidson leading 33-15. Lawyer pops it out for Brankovic. High arcing threes off the mark. And the rebound collected by Lewis. Davidson just 3 of 13 from long range, yet they're ahead comfortably. Covington fouled on the take, and that will be the second on Lawyer.
Yeah, Matt, that's definitely, I'd say, the biggest surprise, the 3 for 12 from downtown. However, it's good to see that the Wildcats, if you're a Wildcats fan, that they can score in the paint. They've got 18 points in the paint. That's noteworthy, and it's got to be the case if shots aren't falling from beyond the arc.
You do sense with Covington and Rice an increased aggressive nature in getting to the rim, and if nothing else, trying to make up some of this deficit at the free throw line.
I agree. I think that backcourt, Yuri Covington, Tyler Rice, it's a bright future for Dane Fisher. I really like their energy at the beginning of that Navy game, and they've come out a little slow here in this one.
Carroll gets the knockaway. Davidson retains possession. Watson elevates and sinks it.
A young man that has such a bright future out of St. Francis de Sales High School. One of the best players to come through that school. Actually spoke to his high school coach, Pat Murphy, and he said he is the best player to come through.
Long three from Carroll, careens off the side iron and ricochets out of play.
And that is not a tough area to play in. The Ohio area, you've got St. Vincent, St. Mary's, which is obviously a noteworthy school. But yeah, love Desmond Watson's game.
Watson with it now, high on the right. Menenga at the low block. Lanier catching fire. Looked good, but it pops off the back iron. Minute 45 to go as Coachera probes on the right wing. Deep three, Covington, yes sir. Covington's got 8 here in the opening half.
Yeah, and I think for William and Mary to climb back into this game, perimeter shots are going to be key. They've struggled to get it on the inside.
Brajkovic short, can't answer. And the ball tipped. Lanier, John Axel Goodmanson, number 11 with 1,700 in his career. Kellen Grady finished 2 points above the 2,000 mark. That's 6th all time. And of course, Steph Curry at the very top of the leaderboard finished his Davidson career at 2,635.
That's where I was going with this, was the exact number that Steph Curry had here at Davidson. And that is, it's a tough mountain to climb to get there for Luka Brajkovic. But congratulations to Luka, who has just grown so much over the last several years, and right now at his best, without question. A 3-level scorer and tough to guard on the low block.
Wildcats by 15. William and Mary to inbound after the kick from Huffman. Stürmer Thorsterson into the game for the first time for Davidson, 34 defending Coachera. So McKillop going fairly deep into his bench here in the opening half. Tough take for Covington, hangs, can't hit, and Brajkovic with the rebound. Davidson a chance to go 2 for 1 here with 45 seconds to play. Huffman drives and kicks. Thorsterson takes it in. Banker won't go, but a foul called. Thrasterson, I should say.
And his nickname, I found this out about a month ago, is Storm. He is from Iceland, second Icelandic player to sign at Davidson ever. We highlighted John Axel Goodmanson, who is playing overseas right now, but Bob McKillop thinks he's got something in Storm.
6'7", 200 pounds from Reykjavik.
Beautiful part of the world. I've been fortunate enough to go there one time.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. And Bob McKillop's been there a handful of times. And he's clarified that it's not been for vacation. Although when you go out and recruit in Iceland, naturally you're probably going to visit the Blue Lagoon, which is an iconic place.
Well, McKillop's been all over. 42 international players have come through the Davidson program under his leadership from 23 different nations.
It's been amazing. Just a heck of a career.
And of course, just here today, we've seen Austria, Denmark, Iceland, England, South Korea. Pretty impressive. Half a second separation, shot and game clock, so William and Mary can hold for 1. Covington going to work with 7. Gives up his dribble. Coachera with 4. Bounce feed knocked away Brajkovic. 1 on the timer, gets it off in time, but
getting the rebound. They were disrupting the way William and Mary was getting rebounds.
Starting 5 on the floor for both teams. William and Mary able to get it quickly into the front court, and Coachera able to bank it in, and that might be foul number 3, and it is against Mike Jones.
could not have asked for a better start if you're the Tribe. Score in 3 seconds to start this second half with one of your best players in Connor Cochera.
Can't cap the three-point play, however. Jones stays in with those 3 fouls. Menenga at the point. Lawyer left side. Tightly defended there by Covington. Brajkovic got to 1,000 points in his career early in the opening half, and now able to drop that in to give him 8 in the ball game.
He just wears you down with his size. So difficult to know which shoulder he's leaning towards.
White lets fly on a 3. That's off the side of the rim, and Jones there to collect the rebound. Wildcats at 5-2 on the season, winners of 4 in a row. And off the pump fake, Lawyer there to drop one in from the free throw line. Well, he's got 7.
Yeah, the biggest difference, Matt, for Lawyer in this game compared to when I saw him first against Delaware, he is getting inside the crevices of the three-point line. A 2-point shooter today, and it's been fun to watch.
Cochera gives it up to White. Covington working against Lawyer. Stop and go move, able to feed one back door, and that's knocked away. And last touch by Hermanovskis. So another turnover for William & Mary. And that's something that's been an Achilles heel for this team this year. Out of 358 teams in Division I, William & Mary is 351st by KenPom in turnover rate, as Hyunjun Lee is called for pushing off.
Hyunjun Lee is confused as to why that was called on him, but there was a little bit of a shove that warranted the call. That's a sign of a gamer. I mean, even though that's a call that we'll probably forget about down the line in this game, he wants it every single time.
Cochera off the mark from 3, tipped out, Menenga secures, and Davidson will trigger the break. Pitch back for Lawyer, catch and shoot, 3, around and through.
He was 1 for 4 in the first half, Matt, from 3. And again, these Davidson players so good in the open court to just catch and shoot. They don't need to do a lot of dribbling to create their own three-point shot.
Lawyer the first in the ball game to double figures. He's got 10. White inside gets the roll. And that's his first bucket of the game.
And finally, a low post touch. Maybe the first low post touch actually for White.
Offensive rebound put back for Brajkovic. He's also got 10, and the offensive rebounds continue to stack up for the Wildcats. That's another moving screen called by this officiating crew. That's been a popular whistle here this afternoon.
Yeah, there was a couple tangled bodies around midcourt as Ben White will come out of this game. That is his 3rd foul. So a huge situation here with one of the best players on William & Mary in foul trouble.
White 42nd in the nation in drawing fouls, but today he's been committing them. Menenga working in all along the baseline. Skips across the lane, can't finish. And Cochera weaving his way up the timeline. Cochera, a hard take. And count the bucket. He'll get a chance for one more.
I've been impressed with what I've seen from Connor Cochera in this game. He's got 2 assists, 5 rebounds, and has been able to get downhill in this game.
Cochera, the 2021 CAA Rookie of the Year, was 19th nationally among freshmen with 13.4 points per game, including a 30-point outing against Towson. Can't make that free throw, however. Wildcats 44, Tribe 26, with 3 minutes gone by in the second half. Lee lobs it up for Brajkovic. He'll reverse finish off the glass.
A great find by Lee and Brajkovic. He could have gone up on the left block, but instead saw the space and went underneath. He's worked on his game so much.
Covington, a nifty move, but Brajkovic there to swat it away.
You know, one of the things that I peeled away from my conversation with Luka Brajkovic before the season was he talked about how he only spent a few months during the summer training in Austria, decided to come back to Davidson early because there weren't any true competitive games with the national team in Austria. So he comes back early to get work in with the staff. And he looks like he's just impacting this game in a multitude of ways.
They call Rice for running the baseline after a situation where there was not a made basket, so that's a turnover, and not a call you often see, but the right one in that situation.
Yeah, just not aware of the situation. William & Mary has made some careless mistakes here.
Bochy, Edom, and Watson onto the floor. Lawyer and Menenga went to the bench. Lee scoops it up, left it short, and last touch by Bochy Edom. Some more 1-2-2 pressure from Davidson. Kochera launches from 3 and he knocks it down. He's got 12 and he's the first member of the tribe into double figures.
Ride the hot hand. Connor Kochera has been a bright spot here today.
Skip pass for Watson. Thought about the 3, instead will drive and pop, and he'll connect from the right elbow.
And Desmond Watson looks very comfortable with that 10 to 15 foot jump shot. For just a freshman, he looks...
The Wildcats also the beneficiaries of 9 offensive rebounds, equating to a lot of extra possessions. Huffman will bring it across amidst full court pressure. Out there with Bochy Edom, Brajkovic, Watson, and Lee. "11 seconds on the shot clock. Brajkovic sets and fires. Too strong from 3, and Lewis there to collect on the glass. Lewis puts on the brakes. 18-footer left it short.
And that's really tough to just go in full acceleration mode and then come to a screeching halt to hit a jumper like that.
Brajkovic from the right elbow, facing up. Too strong with the right hand. I think he got indecisive as to whether or not he wanted to use the backboard or not on that one.
Yeah, it looked very much like an uncertain look.
Rice off the mark from the right wing. And here's Watson charging into the front court. 14.5 to play. Wildcats in control the whole way. They started up 7-0. Watson, right elbow, jump shot. That's bread and butter for the freshman.
He's got 6 points, and all of his field goals have come right around that elbow, 10 to 15 feet away from the basket.
White gives it up. Kochera driving into traffic, throws up a wild shot, and the rebound for Bochy Edom. Up ahead, tried to find Lee leading the break. He wasn't ready for it. And the ball back to William & Mary. Lawyer back in for Brajkovic, so Davidson going a little bit smaller here.
Yeah, definitely an interesting lineup with Lawyer and Huffman, 2 primary ball handlers on the floor. Bob McKillop trying some new things out here.
Kochera, skip pass right side. Covington, step back, high arcing 3. He knocks it down. Yuri Covington now with 12.
He's a second half player. Yuri
Lewis to trigger the inbound. He'll lob it into White in the backcourt. Davidson a couple of turnovers, causing Bob McKillop to take time despite an 18-point advantage. White, free throw line extended, gives it up to Kochera. He'll knock down the 2.
I'm surprised there defensively. Cochera off that dribble handoff, left all alone. There was some miscommunication on the defensive end from Davidson.
Huffman ducks behind the screen. Now drives baseline. Kick out left corner. 3 ball around and off that time from Watson. It'll stay with the Wildcats though. Covington unable to save it as he saved it off the rear end of the backboard.
Desmond Watson gets a much needed rest. Great game for the freshman off the bench out of Columbus, Ohio.
Brajkovic back in for Huffman. So Bob McKillop going to his 5 starters, trying to reestablish some dominance here as the Wildcat offense has hit a bit of a lull. Inbound play for Lawyer. He'll give it up for Lee on the left wing. Lee pulls up from the baseline and sinks it.
Because Hyunjun Lee is such a great passer, Matt, when he starts to dribble the ball and his eyes are looking forward, sometimes defenders can get lost and not realize that he's going to pull the trigger and take a shot. And that is a perfect example on that previous possession of just lulling the defense to sleep.
Cochera around his screen for Covington, who drives baseline, goes up with 2 hands, gets fouled by Luka Brajkovic.
Strong challenge there from Brajkovic.
First on Brajkovic, Covington to the line. Covington so far today, 4 of 6 at the stripe. He's got 12. Cochera with 14 to lead the Tribe. Covington drops in the first.
Yeah, he's really good at getting downhill. We've highlighted that. One other takeaway I saw on film in the Navy game, great pull-up, Jay, off the bounce. He is great at stopping and starting and getting that shot off with a little dribble drive.
Lawyer able to turn the corner, may have gotten away with the double dribble.
Yeah, that or a carry.
12 minutes here this afternoon in Davidson. Wildcats ahead 52-36. They've led the whole way, got off to a 7-0 start to this ball game. They've hit a bit of a lull here in the second half. This is White at the left elbow. He's been held to 1 bucket so far today, a guy who averages 12 points and 6.5 rebounds a game. Cochera draws 2 defenders. Skip pass right side. Lewis passed on the 3, drives in and draws contact. Foul goes against Menenga. That's his first. And Lewis to the line where he's 3 of 4 so far this season. Off the mark on the first. Lewis, last time out against Navy, 0 for 5 shooting it, but still did pull in 5 rebounds off the bench. Able to convert on the second. So Lewis with 5 today off the bench. Lawyer guarded tightly by Covington. And he's called for reaching in.
Yeah, Yuri Covington, he's been aggressive as an on-ball defender today. And that time, a bit too physical.
Menenga catches on the entry. Lawyer on the left wing with 10, including 5 to jumpstart the second half. Lee drives to the rim, switches hands, can't finish. And the rebound tipped and controlled by Rice. Lewis up ahead in transition. Davidson defense traps him underneath the basket, and Lawyer able to get the takeaway and draw the foul.
Phenomenal close on that left block by Davidson. Menenga and Brajkovic, they sealed off that sideline, or that baseline, I should say, very nicely. Julian Lewis thought he had a fast break bucket.
I think that's 4 on White if he was the offender. He goes to the bench in favor of Hatton. White's been in foul trouble much of the game. He's been limited in this one to just 17 minutes. Lawyer, pitch it back for Menenga, swing it right side for Mike Jones. Lawyer, catch and shoot, a long two, not there. Tip won't go for Menenga, and the rebound for Covington. Covington pulls up, around it off from 3. 5 of 18 from long range are the Tribe. Davidson 4 of 18. Neither team has been particularly good from long range, but the Wildcats have been good, Sam, in the paint. 24-8 advantage there.
Yeah, and here you see Brajkovic just wearing you down, scoring right over top of Hatton. If you can't get it from beyond the arc, go ahead and just use the skill set of Menenga and Brajkovic. Those two have such great footwork on the inside.
Well, Brajkovic has 20 pounds on Hatton and 3 years of experience. That's just not a fair matchup on the interior. Another rebound for Brajkovic. Davidson on the attack, leading 54-37 midway through the second. Lee pops outside, high arcing 3 off the back iron, and an offensive rebound, and a foul called as Menenga went skying for it.
Yeah, Julian Lewis fouling Sam Menenga there, who elevated off the floor very nicely to get that ball.
By the way, that was White's 4th personal a moment ago, so he's on the bench likely for the next 5 minutes, but beyond that, you think, why waste him at that point?
Right. Yeah,
Inbound
certainly.
for Lawyer. I mean, Sam, I don't know if you agree, but I think coaches oftentimes sit guys for so long trying to avoid them fouling out, and they miss minutes that they could have if they, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they entered them back early, you lose the minutes. If you sit them, you might as well try to get them out there, and if they pick up the 5th foul, so be it.
I completely agree. I think there are scenarios where you want to take a guy out, but especially if you're in rhythm or you're trying to get in rhythm. Mike Jones, he's got 3 fouls. He picked his 3rd foul up early in the second half, and he's still out there on the floor, so that's always a tough decision.
Hatton had it knocked away, but Lawyers called for a foul, and it will be a 1-and-1 opportunity. But in this situation in particular, I get sitting him down around the 9-minute mark. But if you're William and Mary and Ben White's averaging 12 and 7 a game, well, you're probably not coming back and winning without him. You might not do it with him, but you got a better chance with him than without him is the way I think of it.
I think he for sure would have stayed in the game if he was red hot from the floor, but he just hasn't had it today.
Front end no good from Hatton, and a wraparound pass. Covington trying to go behind the back on the second chance opportunity, turns it over. Hit ahead, and a foul called as Huffman got undercut. And Covington slow to get up. It'll be his 2nd. Oh, they called it on Huffman.
I don't know about that.
I think the PA announcer got it wrong because it was number 5 either way. And the referee is now discussing.
Wow. See, the pass was intended for Huffman, and Covington initiated the contact. He came in and initiated the contact, so I don't know about that.
They do keep it on Huffman. But, I mean, he's leaping for the pass. I don't know how he could avoid. He has the right to go for the ball and got undercut. I don't quite see that one.
Bob McKillop doesn't see it either. He is in disbelief on the sidelines right now.
Huffman's 2nd, 54-37 Wildcats with under 9 minutes to play in regulation. Carroll up top. He's been rather quiet as well. Tough take, blocked away by Menenga. He's had a couple of those today. Huffman pops from 3, halfway down, and it rattles out.
Could have been a mental thing there for Huffman. He looked down for a second, realized he was straddling the 3-point line. Could have been thinking, should I step back a little bit?
A bit of a disjointed second half, but the Wildcats have maintained a double-figure lead since early on in the first. Lawyer at the controls. Menenga up top gives way to Brajkovic, and a foul called away from the ball. And they'll get Covington this time. Third against Covington. And White now with his 4 personals checks back in. Tyler Rice to the bench. Wildcats to trigger, baseline right. Lawyer catch and shoot 3. He sinks it.
And that was right in the face of Yuri Covington. He had a solid contest there. But credit Foster Lawyer, the quick release. A lot of Wildcats can let it fly with a quick release.
3 of 6 from long range. Hatton catches underneath, blocked. And the first free throw off the front of the rim. Davidson with exam week next, and on the road at Northeastern, followed by a home tilt with Radford back here on the 18th of December.
Yeah, Bob McKillop talked about this schedule, Matt, during the preseason, and highlighted that, yes, you're going to look at it, and especially in the non-conference, you're not going to see any high major Power 5 schools on it, but what you will see are very dangerous teams. He mentioned New Mexico State as one of those teams. You got Loyola Chicago coming in. There are a lot of tough teams on this schedule.
Well, and mid-major basketball has never been better than it is right now. Between the transfer portal and the extra year of eligibility, there were some really tough mid-majors. Iona beat Alabama, Dayton beat Kansas, Colgate beat Syracuse, among others. I mean, top to bottom, there's more parity than ever in college basketball.
Yeah, no question. And, you know, Loyola Chicago, they are going to be going into the A-10 in the future, in the very near future. So that's a preview of an A-10 duel on December 22nd. You know, that loss to New Mexico State at the Myrtle Beach Invitational for Davidson was a tough one. I watched that game, and at one point it looked like Davidson was going to win the game. But that is a very good team. New Mexico State wins the WAC almost every year.
Tough day for Hatton at the free throw line, now 2 of 5 with one more coming. He makes the second. As for the Tribe, December 7th at home against Old Dominion to start a 3-game homestand. Hampton and Fairfield to follow before they get into CAA action. Under 7 minutes to play in this one. Floater left short by Jones, and Lewis looking to lead the break. 3-on-3, Jones gets back defensively, knocks it off Coachera. That'll be Wildcat ball.
Bob McKillop has got to love that. That is Mike Jones in a nutshell. Yes, he's going to miss the shot on the right side of the floor, but the hustle and aggressiveness to go back on the other end, create a deflection, and not sit and pout after a frustrating offensive sequence. Kudos to Mike Jones.
And Jones will draw a foul on Coachera on the other end, trying to fight around a screen. Davidson one away from the bonus. Huffman in, Lawyer out for Davidson at the 6:29 mark of the second half. Bo Cheatham catches up high. Watson passes on the 3. Brajkovic with a mismatch. He'll skip it back around. Watson now will fire and drain it from long range.
And Watson looked a little indecisive on that first 3, so did a great job to just head fake and got open a second time. Desmond Watson, he has been very impressive.
And we talked earlier about the bench production. Huffman was 6 in the first half. Watson now with 9 in the game off the bench. Coachera into traffic, able to stop and pop and hit 2.
But yeah, going back to Desmond Watson, he had an unbelievable high school career, could score at all 3 levels. School's all-time leading scorer. Great block
Huffman
right
had
there.
it blocked away. That's White on the interior. And here comes Coach Shera.
I was going to say, yeah, Matt, finally a great defensive possession in the second half from William & Mary.
Covington no good from distance, and the rebound tracked down by Huffman with 5 minutes and 22 seconds left to play. Jones has Covington right in his grill. Brajkovic facing up, now going to work. Try to wrap.
Front court players in Mikkel Harvey for the first semester. He's out, suspended. Hatton and White have to be relied on.
Hyunjun Lee connecting from 3. He's now into double figures with 11 on his first triple of the game. That's a great inbounding play Davidson runs. They have Lawyer coming off 2 screens and then kicking it back to Lee. That's really tough to defend as Lewis is able to answer with a 3 on the other end.
Yeah, any out-of-bounds play, Matt, that goes to Hyunjun Lee, it's a nightmare for defenses because he's a catch-and-shoot type of player.
Lee tried to feed one inside, has it knocked away and stolen. Lewis up ahead for Coach Shera. He'll step and fire. That's off the front of the rim and the long board for Lee. So Lee now a rebound shy of a double-double, 11 and 9. Lawyer draws the foul against Rice about 35 feet from the basket. And that'll put Davidson in the bonus. That's not a wise foul for Rice.
Yeah, and as a freshman, we see at the far side near the scorers table having a conversation with Dane Fisher, the head coach. Again, remember we talked about it, but if you're just joining us, William & Mary is such a young team. They've got a lot of things to figure out. They do have talent, but it has yet to come together early this season, and Coach Fisher mentioned that in an interview I caught on the Tribe's YouTube channel. It's going to take time. It's a very young team, and you've got to take baby steps and find the positives.
Lawyer good on both at the line to give him 15 in the game. Well, you mentioned Harvey out for the first half of the year. They'll get him back. Quinn Blair right now is injured. The senior who was banged up against American came back for a couple games, but is missing his second straight today. So that will help, but you're right. I mean, it's a matter of time more than anything else, getting those freshmen and sophomores, which right now account for 76% of the scoring, to improve, both in terms of what they do from a technical standpoint, but also bulking up and getting their bodies to be more mature.
And there's been talent to come through Williamsburg, Virginia, where William & Mary is located. Nathan Knight, who was a part of that 21-win team 2 years ago.
Lee,
just based on the way that they're playing, Davidson can shoot the ball. I love how deep this league is. I saw Richmond a couple of weeks ago. They're no joke at all, but St. Louis, St. Bonaventure, and Rhode Island are going to be tough. So I think you're talking about potentially a 3, 4, maybe 5-bid league.
Yeah, St. Bonaventure went to the tournament last season, the unanimous pick to win the conference this year, and started out among the top 25 in the polls as Coach Shera heads to the line for a pair.
If they're not if the A-10's not mid-major or high major, they're probably somewhere in between, just because it's just different. And you got Loyola Chicago coming to the A-10 as well next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to what your definition is. I think there would be some people that would argue the Pac-12 is mid-major, although last year they were really impressive come tournament time. I mean, the Big East isn't what the Big East used to be. What is the American? Because there are a lot of former Big East teams that compete in that conference. Certainly, it's not clear-cut the way football is. But yeah, I think like you kind of group the American and the A-10 and kind of that next in-between tier where you expect an opportunity to get more than a single bid into the tournament, but you're not necessarily going 4, 5, 6 plus teams deep. Is that fair?
I think so, yeah. It's an interesting discussion.
Brajkovic with 3 minutes to play in regulation, directing traffic, crosses over, going to work in the low block, count it, and a foul for Luka Brajkovic.
He is so patient, Matt, inside when he gets a post touch. You know, doesn't try to do the first thing that's on his list of scoring. He waits for the right opportunity, and that was a perfect example of it.
And that'll foul out Ben White, so Hatton comes back on. And Brajkovic off the mark in the second, but an offensive rebound for Christensen. 12th offensive board for the Wildcats in this one. Huffman left alone for three, can't connect. Tipped out, and Storm keeps it alive. Loose ball. Watson sticks with it, feeds the cutter in Huffman. He can't convert at the 10. Davidson by 22. Rice pitches back for Cochera. He'll spin into traffic. Banker won't fall. And the rebound for Christensen. Working to the 2-minute mark in regulation. Watson leaves for Brajkovic. Thought about the three. Christensen off the ball fake. Takes it in, scoops and scores.
You know, the other thing, just to go back on what we were talking about with the depth, if Davidson gets the production they're getting from their bench today, they could mess around and win the league. If they get the consistent bench production, and I've liked what I've seen from Watson, Huffman, and we'll see where it goes from here.
How about the defense from Huffman? 2-on-1 in transition. Storm lob it up. Oh, he hit the rim, intended for Brajkovic on the pass. Good defense from Christensen. Cross-court look for Lewis. That too strong, and Huffman up for the rebound. Substitution timeout called by McKillop. By the way, Hunchin Lee picked up his 10th rebound of the game before exiting, so he'll finish with a double-double, 12 and 10 for the fourth in his career. Brajkovic right now with 16, so 1,014 in a Davidson uniform, 48th all-time.
Great
Lanier,
game.
yeah, Lanier at the point.
Yeah, bounce back. Sorry, Matt. Bounce back after a season-low 3 points against Charlotte for Luka Brajkovic.
He's entitled to one of those, especially if Lee's going to go for 32.
Very true.
60 seconds to play in regulation. Deep three, missed everything. That's Austin Washburn entering for the first time, airballing it from distance, the senior from Powhatan, Virginia. Watson driving kick. Lanier off the ball fake. Fades away from 10 and cannot connect. 36 seconds to go as Rice weaves his way into the lane. Patton kicks it out. And the three ball off the mark from Aisha that time, and Davidson can hold. Wildcats will make it 5 consecutive wins. And this one never in doubt. Lanier will dribble it out with 10 on the timer. Davidson started up 7-0. They never trailed in this ball game, and they win it by 24.